Thank you, sir, for joining us today. So, we all know that you have a great vision towards education. So, starting with that topic, we have come across a statement of National Education Policy
Mhm.
that states that education not only depends upon cognitive skills but also depends upon emotional and social skills. What do you think? Does it have any impact on the Indian education system?
Oh, yeah. See, national education policy always, always, even earlier also and today also, it focuses on evolving the education system in such a way that the young students, when they at least formally complete so-called education and become graduate, they should be able to stand on their own legs. Standing on their own legs does not only imply that they should get the job, but it also implies they should be all rounders in the sense that they should be able to take up life, they should be able to take up the future living, and they should be able to project what will be the days to come. And they also want them to, they expect them to be very stable. If all these things have got to happen by that age, they should learn what is meant by emotional stability, what is meant by ability to live, what is meant by obviously what is that what is that called emotional quotient, isn't it? So EQ. So they should be all strong in all these things. Therefore, like it is now being misunderstood as a campus placement activity should be understood broadly because placement is one component which certainly happens when a person has acquired not only knowledge, has also been able to show the stability, has been able to demonstrate his decision making skills and ability. That's what the type of people we need. So that's the reason why national education policy tells it is not just cognitive capabilities, it is also life skills. It is also emotional stability. That's what the national education policy always tries. And the most important point present in the new national education policy, recent one, has been the punchline that the learning has got to be experiential. See, experience makes the entire difference. It brings in the best difference. See, once you experience whatever you have been doing, you will definitely know experience adds as a feedback to yourself to self-correct yourself. Experience is not just to put it on your resume telling that I'm 18 years, I have 18 years of experience, I've got 20 years of experience. But experience tells that your maturity to learn, and it is relearning, it is reinforced learning. That is what the experience would mean. So now, national education policy tells that this experience component should also be acquired by the student when he is a student himself. That is why the learning process itself should be an experiential processing, which implies that learning is not by rote learning, learning is not by memorizing. Learning is by experiencing every line that you study, every experiment you do it in the laboratory should be experienced by you, not an experiment that has got to be reproduced in the examination at the end of the semester. We have got to see what is the value that it is conveying to me. In every learning, every sentence that you learn, you should also find the philosophy of life. That is what is experiential learning. Alright? Good.
In this fast running world, people are named after their ranking systems.
Okay.
Do you really think that these ranking systems motivate students towards education and sharing their knowledge?
It only makes them to get into dirty competition. It only implies rat race, nothing other than. Tomorrow, When you happen to see a very handsome man, and if you really fall in love with that handsome man, will you go and ask him what was the rank you had?
Oh, no.
Will you? You are so sure, so spontaneously you are answering no, 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 right? So every person has his own merit, has his own ability, has his own field to excel. This rank, what does it mean? As on day, it only means that this rank has been mainly because even without understanding the subject, he might have got a rank. Because it is only because of rote learning. Rank is an indication of how well he can absorb. That is all. But then, what is more important is, it is not absorbing, it is applying whatever he has learned. Right? So, application of knowledge requires first understanding of the topic. And our examination systems should assess the understanding capability of the student, not absorbing capability, not a blotting paper to absorb everything. How much he has understood has got to be assessed. Our present examination system till date is a failure, is an utter failure, right? They are just saying how much can he reproduce, and they think that the ability to reproduce is the ability, is reflection of his intelligence. Intelligence has nothing to do with marks, right? Originality, creativity, applicability of whatever he has learned, and naturally sustaining his, standards, sustainability. These have got to be assessed. That is the reason why they tell that whatever the rank you get, whatever you do it, that's only a cut-off. After that, there shall be an interview. That interaction measures your suitability for either for a job or for higher studies or for the research studies, right? So don't just get disturbed just because rank would indicate, the higher maturity. It does not really indicate the maturity, right? I know very well plenty of people, plenty of my own students who might not have been the rank holders. In fact, even in my life, even with my daughter, I had told very clearly, I am not interested in you getting a rank. My father was also telling. My father was telling that you people may not get the rank at high school level. That is different because foundation wise strong may not get a rank, but foundation wise strong will definitely excel in life. Right? Okay. So this way of rewarding a candidate because of rank is, in my opinion, is a wrong method. He has got to be, anybody has got to be identified, it has got to be because of all-round development. It not only all-round development, it has also got to be on the maturity of every level.
As we are talking about ranks, I wanted to ask about our R22 curriculum.
R22 is, it is the phrase, is the terminology just appropriate only for this institution. R22 stands for Academic Regulations, which were brought in the year 2022.
So, as we are talking about the ranking systems, I want to ask you about the Regulation 2022.
Mm-hmm.
In our university, we follow this R22 regulation.
Mm-hmm.
How can students use this features of R22 regulation?
What is so special about R22? Right? R22, Regulation 22, is the total effort to meet all the expectations of national education policy in teaching learning activities. So, in teaching and learning, that's what is the major component. And teaching learning should also result in the creativity of the candidate. Now, what are the things which are told in national education policy? Number one, first, be away from the usual examination system and be away from rote learning, by heart thing. Number two, the Students should know that they are in higher engineering education, higher professional education, and they should know that what is the application level, not still at the entry level, at the application level. Number three, most important, and again I am repeating it, whatever they learn, they should not only apply, they should also validate that application, which means that they should experience their learning. These are the three important components, which obviously implies there are two components. Number one is called picking up the knowledge, not picking up the definitions, not picking up the derivation. I am telling up picking up the knowledge. Just if you become only rich in knowledge, it is also not going to help, because the same thing is done by Google also. You can ask, you can query the Google, it will tell you the knowledge. In what way you are different? You have got to assimilate this knowledge. You have got to integrate this knowledge. You have got to link between the knowledge capsules, and you should be able to apply this knowledge to understand the situation, to solve a problem, and to come out with a solution. This is at the first level. This also I am not telling it as a very big applicative level. But what you have got to do is, by the time that you complete your education, you should be in a level to create your own knowledge, to create your own interpretation, to create your own solving methodology by evolving over whatever the knowledge that you have picked up. This is what we want the students of Vignan to accomplish. They should not just become people waiting for a campus placement. They should rise to such a level that the company should come and request us for our students. That would happen when when our students show up that they are original in handling the knowledge. They are not second level people. They are the first level people. Not only they handle the knowledge, they are able to create the knowledge also. This is the aim of Regulation 22. And that is why in Regulation 22, we have clearly mentioned that every topic of learning should be under the three levels. One L, another T, and another P. I shall just explain what are the significances of this L, T, and P. But before that, all that I wanted to tell you is one component is knowledge, another component is implementability of this knowledge. The implementation ability of the knowledge comes only when you are a skilled person. Therefore, the person should pick up both knowledge and skill of utilizing the knowledge, first level, then skill of generating the new knowledge. So, the skill is not a learning. Skill is acquiring. Skill is, getting it happen. It should automatically happen. Skilling should automatically happen. Nobody can teach you what is a skill. What is the definition of skill? Skill is the intrinsic ability of a candidate to transform the knowledge into action, into performance, into a product. This nobody will teach you. And if everything will be taught, again your skill will also be limited to whatever has been taught. Extrapolation, ability to extrapolate whatever you have learned, and ability to create the solution to whatever the situation is really the skill. Did you get it? Yes. Therefore, a student is expected to pick up not only knowledge but also the skill. If both of them have got to be there, the natural intelligence of the student has got to be encouraged. It has got to be flooded. Natural intelligence should get reflected. In other words, the individuality, the feel of individuality in learning and in applying the knowledge should be exhibited by every student. So every student should automatically become a different person, and each one should rise to his own niche level. He has got to create his own niche level. Right? So that is where here we give an opportunity, we create the opportunity for the students, not just to listen to teachers and just copy whatever has been told by the teacher. We want the students also to get involved in the process of thinking and making their own opinion about whatever they have learned. They should get involved at individual level and also at a group level. That is why there shall be a group participation also. Tomorrow when you get into the job, tomorrow when you face the life, alone you will not be solving the problem. Alone you will not be handling the situation. You need to be in a group. So how to handle in a group should also be picked up. This cannot be taught. This has got to be experienced. That is the reason we have got three ways of describing the learning. One L, another is T, another is P. L does not stand for hearing the lecture. L stands for improving your listening comprehension. Careful, focusing, improving that focusing comprehension and listening for the information and then storing it. And then T is for transacting. You are going to transact with the sources of knowledge. It could be library, it could be Google, it could be YouTube, it could be your classmates, it could be your teachers, it could be your teaching assistants. So this transaction has got to happen. Then P is not practicals. The conventional meaning of practicals that one laboratory experiment will be assigned to you, you complete that laboratory experiment. P is practicing the subject. Practicing always gives hold on the subject. When you really practice, the diversion of thinking would happen. This practicing the subject could be at the individual level, could be at the group level, could be interacting with your peers, could be also interacting with your teachers. In all these process, you can see one, even while listening, you will develop the skill of carefully listening, right? Even a transaction, you will also develop the skill of how to interpret the knowledge, how to make use of the knowledge. And in practicing, the skill gets more and more perfection. It reaches the level of perfection. So, when a student comes out, particularly after he does his final project work, which is more of amalgamation of knowledge and skill plus the creativity, then a student is definitely a well-made individual, not to get a job, as I said, which incidentally should happen. It automatically will happen. But what is more important is he becomes as a person ready to embrace the world, ready to take up the challenges in the society. Okay?
But in this regulation, we are having continuous assessment
Yes, of course.
system. So students feel stressed due to this continuous assessment system.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on that to get
Why
rid of
should the
the
student
stress?
be stressed about it? The whole continuous assessment should relieve him from the stress. Why should he be stressed out? Do you eat only once in a week?
No,
Is it not almost a continuous process?
it is a
Or is it a stressful activity?
not a stress.
Right? And then when you are eating, why do you need diversity in eating?
To
Because you want to
experience.
experience different tastes. This should also be enjoyed like that. And after all, you are seeing the continuity is to improve your ability to get form. Without continuity, how can you get evolved? How can you get formed? A plant goes continuously. You grow continuously. The family problems also will be solved continuously. Water flows continuously. Will the river flow intermittently? The whole process, whole natural things are in the continuous process. So why not learning? What is learning meant to be intermittent? or it has got to be jacketed once when the test is announced, once the midterm test is announced, once the examination is announced, then it is not called learning at all. Learning has got to be experienced, therefore it has got to be continuous. After all, we expect every person to be active with his business for about 8 to 9 hours per day, and that's all you have got to get involved. Remaining hours, we also want you to learn by playing. We also want you to learn by interacting with your friends. Spend with your friends. Not necessary that you should talk about the subject, but talk about their nature. Talk about that. Developing the friendship, finding out the strength of other person is also learning. They're all continuous process only. You should watch a movie also. You would learn even from watching a movie. So everything is a continuous process. But only problem is if you look at examination itself as the end point, rightly you people, whatever you have been doing, that is the incorrect mechanism that you would do because you want to maximize the profit out of the end point and for that you want to put the last minute effort. That is not at all learning. That is stupidly cunning the situation. It is stupidly, it's a very cunning approach only to maximize the mark. But you should maximize your learning experience. So, continuity is a necessity. And continuity will, with little diversity will definitely add beautiful meaning. So continuity is not a stress. The whole exercise of national education policy, the whole exercise of regulation 22 is to de-stress you, right? The bad mannerisms and the bad effects of examination or the stress because of the examination should not be felt by the individual. That is why the assessment also is divided into two parts. One part, the formative assessment, which is a piecemeal assessment. You have small things to learn and small things are assessed, and perhaps the assessment should be, in my opinion, should be without your knowledge. But then assessment itself has been becoming a big headache for you people, which is wrong. You should enjoy the assessment, right? You should just enjoying the assessment, right? So formative assessment is in piecemeal. Summative assessment is how will you integrate, knit all these pieces of knowledge together is what is done at the summative assessment. You know that the summative assessment weightage is not 100%. It's a part of summative assessment. It's a part of learning. Therefore, larger weightage is given to formative assessment. Then where should be the where should be the stress? There should not be any stress. You should have enjoyed. You should definitely enjoy because you are also knowing how you are learning, how you are performing, and your teachers and your teaching assistants shall also help you in giving you the feedback to you in telling how you have got to adapt, improve, and where you are not performing so very well. So obviously it is a continuous feedback mechanism. It is an automatic control system which is established for an effective learning. Therefore, you should not look at it as a stress at all. There is something seriously wrong, right? Number one, with parents. Number two, perhaps with our teachers also. If you are getting the impression that it is continuous stress, it is de-stress it, enjoy comfortably, get up like as you get up as usual. And if eating and becomes a regular habit, even learning should also become a regular habit. That's all. All right.
I have heard that you read a lot of books, sir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know this famous poem, The Road Not Taken,
Mm-hmm.
written by Robert Frost.
Mm-hmm.
It depicts the student's life. So, can you give your insights regarding that poem?
What does it tell? Can you narrate that poem? Can you give me the gist of whatever has been told by the
Yes,
poet?
sir.
Does it talk about distractions?
It talks about a student, not a student, but a person
Mm-hmm.
who will have, he has two paths to choose.
Mm-hmm.
One which is taken by lot of people,
Okay.
other one which is not even traveled.
Okay.
The poet describes that he travels in a path where a lot of people traveled.
Mm.
He goes halfway and he returns
Mm.
back,
Mm.
and he Then he goes through the other path
Mm.
where where that is not traveled by many.
Mm.
He describes the path as it has lots of thorns and
Mm.
many obstacles.
Mm.
Yet he choose to travel in that path.
Yeah.
So how
Mm.
can this?
Learning has got to be exploring. And exploring always has got to be in the area which has been unexplored. Otherwise, why will you call it as exploring? The exploration has got to take place. In my personal life, always my role model is elephant, because elephant will not travel on the road which has already been made. It makes its own path. Every time it travels, it makes its own path. It creates. Alright? And elephant, when it walks, it does not spoil the neighborhood, but it walks very carefully also. Right? Therefore, exploring is always in an unexplored area. And when you get into unexplored area, really you can experience the difficulties of traveling. And that is what is learning. Right? And that's exactly what has been emulated even in our regulation 22 by giving an unexplored question to you so that you can explore. You can apply your own knowledge and create new knowledge. This is what is called transfer learning. Applying your experience, applying your knowledge into solving an unknown problem. Right? That has got to be done. Right? Because in the process, particularly looking at the age of you people, surely it's an age which distracts you. Surely certain things which could attract you would definitely be more interesting. Naturally, while you are walking alone on the road, the ice cream parlor which is just on the road is more attractive than the target of your road, than the target of why you are walking. I'm not telling that you should not get to ice cream parlor, but that should not become destination. That should become only a recharging point. And after getting recharged, you should understand what is my job. Am I diverting my attention? That you should understand. Nobody should tell you. You are the self teacher for yourself. That is what is self realization. If you go through the life story of Gandhiji also got distracted. Gandhiji got distracted in very bad way. I think some of you may not even know, might not have understood that Gandhiji also did lot of things which are not really expected to be done by a student. Even he went to the extent of trying to suicide when he was a small boy. But coming back, understanding, understanding the purpose, coming back and sticking on to your goal, sticking on to your objective is what is more important. I'm pretty sure at your age there shall be a lot of distraction, but learn to excuse yourself. Learn to tell, yes, it's wrong. I have learned a lot of lessons. My experience has taught me, and learn to excuse yourself. Don't expect others to come and excuse you. Learn to excuse yourself. Wait for the opportunity, take up the opportunity and demonstrate. If you really go through his books on, my experiments with true at the young age, probably anybody would have decided that, somebody could have decided that Gandhiji is useless, but he ultimately becomes Mahatma, right? So everybody is an individual, right? And his life, everybody's life should be a message for every other person. Did you get that? That
Students stepping into the real world are ambitious and innocent.
uh-huh.
If that child is confused between choosing paths like a passion or developing a career,
Mm-hmm.
what suggestion would you give to him?
Just now I told you that every student has got to be a self-judge of himself. He has got to be a self-judge. He should know. It is passion and the goal. Right? One has got to be passionate to move towards the goal. Right? One has got to be very strongly passionate. If he is strongly passionate and committed, naturally everything would be alright. And just now I told you that there shall be lot of distractions. Man-made distractions, natural distraction, adolescent related distraction, everything shall be there. Understanding that and learning to identify the mistake and learning to automatically punish himself. Punish himself is not by suiciding or not by not eating, etc. Punishing himself by telling himself that it is wrong and setting himself right shall make his path very beautiful. It will all be. See, if one door gets closed, you should turn around to see that there are many other doors, many other opportunities always open. Right? So everything will definitely happen. Be natural. Be very natural. That's all. Don't be unnatural. Don't emulate somebody. Don't copy somebody. Be natural and be yourself. Just don't look at your neighbor and decide what you have got to be. Look at yourself and decide what you want to be. Right? That's all. And again, at this point of time, I have got to seriously tell you people, listen to your parents. Whatever your parents will tell you, whatever the peers will tell you, should become only suggestions. Decision should be yours. Parents are giving you the suggestions which have generation gap. They are telling whatever has been true to them. But take, enjoy, listen, analyze, critically analyze, and then understand what has got to be done by you. Right? It is not to hurt parents. I'm not telling you that you should disrespect your parents, but I am telling you that you should understand your capabilities, and most important, you should also understand your limitations and how to overcome your own limitations. Others will not tell that. Okay? See, unless you open up with others fully, which you cannot do, but you should learn to open up within yourself what are your weaknesses, what are your limitations, and how do I overcome that. Then you will definitely see the future path. Right? Right.
How important it is for students to manage both their extracurricular activities and pursue their passion.
Look, most important during the undergraduate days is the personality development. Personality development does not come by maximizing the marks in a stupid examination. Personality development shall not come unless you understand the subject. And you have got to also understand the ambience, environment. You have got to also understand the people, right? Therefore, it is necessary that learning has got to be all-rounded. If it has got to be all-rounded, you should have enough time to spend with your parents, you should have enough time to spend with your friends, you have got to have enough time even to spend with unknown people, which definitely implies that alone curriculum will not be able to teach you the life. Extracurricular activities shall teach you the life. In fact, that is the reason at this age, I would prefer that the institution should definitely be a residential institution. Only then you will understand how to really respect your classmates, how to respect your roommates in the hostel, and how you have got to live with them, and how the plus points of others could be understood, which all will become learning. Therefore, your participation in the sports, your participation in the extracurricular activities, your participation in co-curricular activities, your participation even in a group walking, or your participation in working in some adapted villages, all these things are very essential because learning is here. Learning the life is here. This is knowledge. Knowledge only in some domain, right? But you should be able to see the linkage between this knowledge and the philosophy of life also. right? Therefore, extracurricular activities is a must. You should you should participate, and you should now in the process you should identify your own strengths and encourage yourself to become more and more involved in whatever you like, right? I'm telling you, personality development is your individual, it has got to become your trait, right? And ultimately you should understand, which I have been repeatedly telling, every one of you is an individual. That individuality should get reflected, right? Is that all right? You should not be a sheep or a goat. And as I said, you should be an elephant, right? All the best.
Thank you, sir. This is all for our Vignan's podcast. This is our first podcast. It's been launching today with you as our first episode. How do you feel about this?
I'm delighted. I'm very happy and I'm very proud that you are taking up this, reaching the people through the podcast. I'm very happy about it because naturally everybody cannot come and meet me. And of course, through this medium, I would be very delighted to meet every one of them. And I would be very happy if people have their own opinion, people have their own observations, and people want to find lot more solutions with me. I'm very happy you can even arrange, the discussion session. Naturally, I got to manage that and pick up such 20 people or 25 people who want to really interact with me, bring them to me. I will all be happy. I'm very sure this you have got to do with our deans, our registrar, and also with chairman. You have got to do with you have got to do with your heads of the departments. You have got to do with your senior professors also. What cannot always be told in the classroom by your teachers can definitely get it will find the light through the podcast, and it will definitely reach the bigger mass. I'm really delighted about it. I'm very happy about it.
Thank you, sir, for giving your time for us.
Thank you
Thank you
very,
for
very
sharing your
much.
insights and experiences.
Thank you. All the best. All the best. It was good.